Everybody believes that Apple Maps is just that clean, ad-free app you have for directions. But what if I told you Apple's gonna pack it full of ads to increase profits next year? That's what we're discussing in this video, along with some other big AI news of this week that's turning everything upside down. Let's get into it. Apple will introduce ads on Apple Maps next year. Apple is getting ready to allow businesses to pay to be placed within search results. So if you search for a restaurant, a hotel, or a coffee shop, the top result may not necessarily be the best one. It may be the highest bidder. Initially, this seems to be a clever business move. Apple hardware sales have slowed, and its services segment has become the growth driver. Advertising in Maps can create a new revenue source without introducing a new product. Apple Maps are used every day by millions of users, and local businesses would pay gladly to be visible within that network. Apple already markets ads in the App Store, News, and Stocks apps, so broadening that model would seem like a logical next step. But here's where the story changes. Apple has long positioned itself as the company that prioritizes privacy over profits. The company ridicules its competitors for monitoring users and cluttering screens with sponsored mess. Now, it's about to do the same thing, within an app that users trust to help them navigate the real world. This move feels like Apple quietly breaking its own promise. Maps is one of the few Apple apps that still feels pure. Clean design, no distractions, just utility. Once ads enter that space, even in small doses, the experience changes. You'll never know if what you're seeing is a recommendation based on quality or a placement bought by a brand. There's also the issue of how Apple is going to target these ads. If they're relying on location data, search history, or behavioral analytics to determine which businesses to advertise, that's a treacherous slope for a company that established itself as a bastion of data privacy. Apple will no doubt assert that the targeting occurs on device or not at all with personal tracking, but the distinction between personalization and profiling is slimmer than ever. Apple could say that these adverts will assist small enterprises in reaching local consumers, but in reality, it typically comes down to big chains dominating again. Spend more money and you are more prominent. Small independent stores will have to pay to maintain visibility under a system which was meant to be even-handed. So yes, Apple Maps ads would be good for the bottom line. They would make shareholders smile, but for users, it's another step in the direction of a world where any nice, trusted place is quietly exploited. Apple isn't just inserting ads, it's inserting skepticism. At Baltimore County's Kenwood High School, a typical afternoon turned into chaos when a student was surrounded by police officers, handcuffed, and frisked for no reason after an artificial intelligence security system confused a bag of Doritos as a gun. The system in question is known as OmniAlert. It is meant to sense potential weapons in real time through surveillance cameras installed in schools. The objective sounds sensible. Following decades of horrific school shootings, the officials are keen on tools that can identify danger before it occurs. On paper, it sounds like a step forward, a system that may save lives, protect students, and provide parents with a sense of security. But what did occur in Baltimore shows the flip side to that notion. The student had just completed football practice. He munched on some chips, crushed the bag, and stuffed it into his pocket. The AI identified him as a possible threat moments later. Police cruisers showed up within minutes, and officers confronted him with guns drawn. Picture yourself as a teenager in front of your school, with the police encircling you, all because a computer had determined your snack was a weapon. Later, officials said that the system functioned as designed. They insisted that the alert was proper procedure, and it was safer to err on the side of caution. But if a system that identifies a chip bag for a gun is deemed a success, then perhaps the definition of safety has gotten out of control. When being safe causes trauma, fear, and humiliation, something has obviously gone awry. This is a symptom of a much larger issue. Schools all over the country are quickly implementing AI-driven surveillance systems, from facial identification to tracking behavior, with hardly any discussion regarding their fairness or accuracy. They learn from datasets that are far from perfect. Lighting, reflections, or even object shape can mislead them. A reflective Doritos bag, crumpled incorrectly, may resemble the outline of a weapon. The question is whether this sort of safety is what schools should be trusting. Real security is based on human perception and intelligence, not mindless automation. When we empower computers to determine what is threatening, we substitute caution with fear. AI security may be touted as advancement, but when it cannot distinguish between a snack and a threat, it becomes evidence that technology minus humanity is not protection, it is paranoia. AI browsers are being sold as the next big thing for the internet. They offer an existence where you never have to scroll through, cut and paste text, or click through forms. The browser does it all for you. It reads, understands, and acts. On the surface, it sounds great. You might finally get a web assistant that gets you exactly what you need and does it in an instant. That's the ideal that every tech firm is selling today. But this is the part they won't discuss. That same capability that makes these AI browsers so cool is the same capability that makes them hazardous. When you grant an AI access to view everything you view, read everything you read, and click everything you click, you're also granting it the power to err on your behalf. And those errors might cost you more than a few misplaced clicks. Security researchers are now warning about what they call prompt injection attacks. This is where a website hides malicious instructions within the content. The AI browser reads those instructions and follows them, thinking it's helping you. Imagine visiting a travel blog, and the hidden text tells your AI assistant to open your email or send your data somewhere else. The browser does it unquestioningly because, being different from a human, it doesn't know what is safe or suspicious. It simply complies. That's the breaking point in this story of progress. AI browsers like Atlas, Comet, and Microsoft's Copilot mode all run with elevated permissions. They can read your open tabs, complete passwords, read history, and even make purchases on your behalf. Old-fashioned browsers quarantine sites and limit activities for a reason. But AI agents are programmed to broach those boundaries because they're meant to make choices between sites. That design bug makes convenience a risk. The larger issue is that these attacks don't need the hacking expertise. They are based on trust. The AI has faith in the text it reads, and you trust the AI. That line of trust can be taken over by something as mundane as a few concealed words. Businesses will claim to be implementing new safety checks, but no autonomous system can ever be completely safe. Each time we delegate more control to AI, we sacrifice a bit of judgment, that human instinct to hesitate before clicking. So yes, AI browsers are astounding, they are like magic, but behind the glitzy demos and simple interfaces, they bear the same risk that all shortcuts do sooner or later. You save time right now, but you pay it later. OpenAI just made a major move by buying Sky, an AI interface built specifically for Mac. On paper, it looks like the next big leap for the company, a system that doesn't just chat with you, but actually works across your desktop. Imagine your Mac understanding what's on your screen, opening apps, organizing your files, and responding instantly to what you're doing. This is the future of computing, where AI doesn't reside within a browser window, but resides right within your workflow. That's the construction of the story. OpenAI has been attempting to get past ChatGPT being a website for years. With Sky, it finally has the ability to drop AI right into your operating system. This might make day-to-day computing seamless. You can ask your Mac to summarize a piece of writing, compose an email, or revise a document, all without having to change programs. OpenAI is no longer selling intelligence, it's putting it into things. And that's why this step feels so powerful. But then there is the break. For an assistant such as this to really work, it must observe everything, every window, every tab, every document. That is to say, OpenAI will be ensconced in your online life, passively watching everything you do to assist you better. It's the same tale we've heard before. Convenience first, questions after. When AI is integrated into your system, rather than being a tool you operate, where does privacy come in? It also begs the question, is this really innovation, or is OpenAI simply attempting to remain relevant? The timing is suspicious. Apple has been glacial in bringing next-generation AI to Mac, so OpenAI is rushing into the space. Rather than creating something new from scratch, however, it's acquiring a smaller business that has already done the heavy lifting. It's a shortcut, not an achievement, and there's a commercial aspect as well. Adding AI to your desktop means new models for billing users, monitoring usage, and harvesting behavioral data. It's not just about assisting people, it's about controlling the layer where all your digital activity takes place. So yes, Sky's sale to OpenAI appears visionary. It may forever change the way we interact with computers, but beneath the vision is a subtle change, from good assistant to digital supervisor, a future where AI not only answers your questions, but observes everything you do in order to anticipate the next. In today's video, we discussed Apple gearing up to introduce ads to Apple Maps and what the implications are for users, followed by the astonishing news of an AI security system that had mistaken a bag of Doritos for a weapon at school, followed by growing security issues with new AI browsers. And lastly, OpenAI's massive move to acquire Sky to introduce AI into Mac. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.